What is rape culture? Defined by the Oxford Dictionary, it is a society or environment whose prevailing social attributes have the effect of normalizing or trivializing sexual assault and abuse. Rape culture is heavily influenced by the media and is perpetuated by the systematic sexism and gender inequality within our society.
Look at what we have here.
This trivialization of sexual violence contributes to harmful gender stereotypes while often placing the liability of the crime on the victim.
Let's not distort reality to cover your morning after shame. You were high, half naked, and begging for it.
Media has a huge influence on how we view society, because it is meant to represent it. But when that representation promotes a culture that amplifies violence and inequality,
put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She ain't even know it.
our society, intentionally or not, learns and mimics these behaviors. Sexual assault is nothing to joke about, unless you say it's comedy.
I don't like rape. Not even the fake kind where the woman kind of secretly likes it.
I feel like I'm being raped by a sleeping bag!
She lets me pork her while she's sleeping.
Sleep assault?
Yeah.
I replaced her pepper spray with silly string. Anyway, that night she got raped.
Charlie and I had this drunken threesome with a crazy chick right on this couch. Unfortunately, she passed out and Charlie and I kept going without her.
I'm not condoning rape, obviously. You should never rape anyone. Unless you have a reason, like you want to fuck somebody and they won't let you, in which case, what other option do you have?
Some would say that rape jokes and people who make them don't condone or perpetuate rape. But a study on the connection between the clemency of rape and sexist jokes done by Manuela Tomei and Vicky Tendiai argues that if a person holds hostile and sexist attitudes, then the exposure to sexist jokes may create a situation which not only enhances tolerance of discrimination against women, but also appears to elevate the propensity to commit rape. So yeah, it's not just a joke.
Stop it. Get some help.
We look to film to find the epitome of romance.
Still isn't over. I'm flying.
Despite the fact that sometimes the love portrayed isn't love at all. One trope that we often see in movies is the use of kidnapping as a romantic gesture. The kidnapper is always painted as a good guy, and in the end, the woman, who is probably suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, falls madly in love with him. By committing this act, the perpetrator not only strips the woman of her right to consent,
You coming, donkey?
but her literal freedom as well.
Just let me go.
This is an example of predatory romance. Invading personal space, the insinuated threat of violence, and repetitive and aggressive propositioning are all characteristics of predatory romance. It is, like the name implies, more of a predator-prey interaction than an equal and consenting one. Hollywood is ridden with assault guised as seduction, and is presented in some of the most beloved films of all time. For example, the critically acclaimed movie Blade Runner. Rachel repeatedly, through her actions and words, denies Rick of his advances. He uses many of the characteristics commonly found in domestic abuse. He prevents her from leaving, using physical violence to restrain her, and even forces her to give him her consent.
Kiss me.
I can't rely on...
Say kiss me.
Kiss me.
After all of this, in the end, he is presented as our hero. It teaches the audience that saying no doesn't actually mean no. And if you pressure her hard enough, eventually she'll give in. A large part to play in rape culture is victim blaming. Victim blaming is the devaluing act where the victim of a crime or abuse is held wholly or partially responsible for the wrongful conduct committed against them. What does victim blaming look like? We look to our government for guidance and protection, but when the men with the most power are sexual offenders with no repercussions, how is a standard of accountability supposed to be met?
You don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. Do anything.
Not all men are rapists, and not all women are victims, but everyone is affected by rape culture. The only way that rape culture can be fought is through education, empathy, and accountability. And remember, the only thing that causes rape is a rapist.